Today we're going to go through 5 things you need to check before you buy a place in Brisbane. Alright, number 1. So it doesn't matter if you're buying an existing house, a brand new house, if it's anywhere in Brisbane or in Queensland, you need to do some of these checks because I've had heaps of people caught out. You can buy a place that doesn't have approvals, you can get in the wrong zone, you can get some apartments built next door. Peter, first one?
Zoning. First and foremost, that needs to be your number 1 check. You want to know what can be done with your property and also what can be done with the properties around you. So if you're planning to do, hey, I want to do a massive house extension, do this beautiful grand house, I'm going to pump multi-$1,000s into it sort of thing. That didn't sound right. You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Bucket load of money into it. You want to make sure you don't have 3-story units popping up next door to you tomorrow. That would not make you happy.
Well, it's even that you bought a place because there's a beautiful backyard and it's all green and it's got lots of sunlight. And exactly right. If you bought something in Chermside maybe a few years ago that now has a 10-story apartment complex next to it, kind of sucks. So how do you check that?
So basically you go to Brisbane City Council's interactive mapping program, search for the property, click on the zoning, have a look at what colour it comes up with, match that colour against the legend, that will tell you what the zoning is.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
All right, so number 2 is overlays, which...
You're like, what the heck are they?
I don't know. It's like...
Overlays, okay. So essentially they basically map constraints. So it can be protected vegetation, flooding, heritage, bushfire, all of that sort of fun stuff. So things that council want to protect you from or protect from you, basically.
So basically if you're buying a house and you're thinking, maybe not now, but in the future you want to put a deck on it, you want to extend it, you want to add another bedroom, you want to lift it, this stuff can really impact you because it could be a big old tree in the backyard that you're going to knock down and put a Titan shed or, I don't know, you could.
Well, the best one I use is Bushfire Hazard Overlay. I saw a property where that added $100,000 to the construction cost because it was like this property was basically at the base of Mount Cootha. It was BAL FZ Flame Zone, highest category you can possibly get. This thing, I love talking about this. The support posts had what I call life jacket paint on it. So when they get exposed to heat, they puff up like a life jacket just to try and protect the metal underneath. It was intense, this place. So yes, you want to know about that before you start the renovation, or no, before you purchase the property and then before you start the renovation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Number 3, neighbourhood plan. So
Yes.
this isn't your neighbours if they're nice people, right?
Totally.
Alrighty then.
Okay, the council covers that.
Move on. No, neighbourhood plans is council's way of getting really, really specific on what they want to see in the local area. So sometimes, I'll probably say maybe 80% of the time, the neighbourhood plans are totally innocuous. They mean nothing. You can skip past them, like the Enoggera District Neighbourhood Plan, Ashgrove District Neighbourhood Plan, yawn, move on, they're boring. But if you get to some juicy ones like the West End Woolloongabba District Neighbourhood Plan, they've got some really, really tight provisions in there. So there's certain rules that basically say your front facade can't sit more than 4.8 metres above the ground level. It means you've got to have a cute little humble house that sits nice and close to the ground. You can't go over 50% site cover, whereas those smaller sites anywhere else in Brisbane, you can potentially go up to 80% site cover. So they're really restricting your built form and all that sort of stuff. So it's always wise to check the neighbourhood plans. Don't throw any curveballs at you when it comes to design.
Number 4, services.
Yeah.
Like if you got room service, bath
Yeah,
service,
yeah.
pool service.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it, if it mapped them out? No.
Have a little bell.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about sewer lines, water lines, and stormwater lines. You want to know if they're going to go through your property because you can your future building footprints or plans can be significantly restricted, or your costs can go through the roof as a result of those pipes. Best example I can give is a property that I actually purchased recently. I found out through my due diligence that there's a nice stormwater pipe running through that property.
Lovely.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
The engineers basically came back and said when you go to renovate that property, you will have to raise it up to comply with modern standards, which means getting it off the ground 10 to 20 centimetres, 15 grand extra in construction costs. May not sound too crazy, but all these things, little things add up and a massive bill at the end. So yes, you want to know about that before you purchase ideally, if not before you start the design process.
This even impacts if you're buying an existing property that has a stormwater drain or it has encumbrances and different things on there, because you might be buying a block that's 400 square metres, but actually the council can resume it or take things back and have to rip up pipes, and your beautiful petunias or your garden at the backyard can get taken away pretty quickly.
Exactly.
And the last one, checking that stuff's council approved.
Yeah.
You'd think if a house is there, someone's approved it, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
More often than not, probably not. So yes, whole houses, yeah, okay, pretty safe that that's going to be approved. But if someone's added a little deck on the back or put a little carport out the front, it's always wise to go and check whether they've actually been approved by council. Now, there's 3 things I'd say here. Number 1, if it's unlawful, council can turn up at any point in response to a complaint and basically say you need to pull that thing down or seek retrospective approval for it. No guarantee that you're going to get that retrospective approval, so you might suddenly lose that beautiful deck or that beautiful carport. Number 2 thing I'd say, what am I going to say here? Insurance. So basically, Suncorp, I believe, was one of the first ones to start cracking down on this after the 2011 floods. They basically said, hey, look, that enclosure downstairs was not lawful, so we're not going to pay out your insurance claim to cover that. Hey, if you're talking about maybe a little gatehouse or something like that, yeah, you could probably take that risk, no big deal. If you're talking about a whole bottom floor to your house, yeah, that's a slightly big deal. You might want to, take that on.
Wow.
So they're probably the 2 main things I would say.
Yeah, because again, if you're buying a place that's already had the extension on there, I see it all the time with decks, where people just buy it and then realise when they move in that it was never approved. And you're right, it can cost 10 grand to remove a deck if the council says, no, it wasn't approved. So definitely check those out. Your solicitor or conveyance can actually help you on the way in, or a town planner can help you at the back end if you bought something that needs to get approved.
Yep, definitely.
Cool, that's it for today, guys. How do we find you? Where are you?
Hit me up on the socials. So Facebook and Instagram, Brisbane TP. Very simple.
And we'll have all
The details below.
it'll look good. All right, till next time. See ya.